Hey ring makers, this is Trevor with Patrick Adair Supplies, and today we're going to be going over the January sub box. Let's get going.
Every month, we dive into epic tutorials that break down everything you need to know to make awesome rings with your monthly sub box. We'll cover the tools, the materials, and techniques you need to turn your box into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Whether you're a first-timer or a pro, you're in the right place. Alright, so in this month's kit we have a hammered tungsten ring blank, our blue glow powder, an extra empty vial, Tanzanite, Arctic blue opal, and our sky blue pigment. And then for our freebies this month, we are throwing in a pack of our iridescent pigments and then a grabbing tool. Alright, so to start off, I'm going to be crushing up the materials just a little bit, just to make it so they fit in that ring channel a little bit easier. And once that is done, we are going to be mixing up our pigment and glow powder. You can mix that to whatever consistency you'd like. This is the color we ended up with this one. Alright, so to start off the inlay, I'm doing a thin layer of our thick CA. And once that layer is down, I will be covering that with our inlay materials. Once that is covered, I'm just taking the back end of the tweezers and gently pressing the material into the channel, just to try and make sure it's really packed in there and all touching the thick CA we put on. After, I'm taking our pigment and glow powder mixture and covering that inlay channel with all of that, so that any remaining opening spaces where that thick CA may be showing is going to be covered by that pigment mixture, and it will be hiding any of the metal from the ring blank underneath. And after that cover is on there and I blow off the excess of the pigment, I'm just putting on a small amount of the super thin, just enough to change the color of that pigment a little bit, just so I know that everything is saturated. You don't want to use too much, or else the super thin will make the inlay just start to fall apart. So just a tiny amount is great. I usually just do maybe like 3 or 4 drops, just enough to see that pigment change colors. And after that, I am just letting everything cure, and I will be slowly building up the rest of the empty space in that channel with the super thin. I do like to just take my time with each of these layers so that I don't get any bubbles left over It takes some time, but I think the end result is worth the wait. And I am just going until that inlay channel is completely full with that super thin. And once it is completely full and the CA is cured, I'm taking our rotary tool and just sanding everything down flush and following that up with a wet sand of the 220 grit just to clean up any rough scratches or deep scratches from that rotary tool. We use an 80 grit sanding drum with the rotary tool, so it can be a little bit harsh on that CA. So I like to do just one quick wet sand with the 220, and then if I see any deeper gouges that I didn't get cleaned up, I'm just taking a razor blade and gently getting those out so they don't show up in our finished product. If you are using a razor blade, remember just to use safety, try not to cut yourself, and go slow. So once all of those deep scratches are out, I am going to do about 3 more layers of the super thin. So just add the super thin, wait for it to cure 3 times, just to build up any of that lost space that we took away with the Dremel or with the rotary tool. And then once that is all cured, I am going to be wet sanding with the 220 grit again. And with the hammered tungsten, it's a little bit tricky with all the facets you get on the hammered sections. So I'm just taking the 220 grit and sanding with that until I can see that the CA is getting thin on those facets. And once I see that it's getting thin, I'm going to be taking just the corner of our razor blade and cleaning off each one of those facets. Just take your time with this so you don't scratch the inlay or scratch yourself. If you do end up scratching something, you can always reapply the super thin, or since we still have some sanding to go, a lot of the time it will be cleaned up in the finishing steps. So I'm just going on each side, cleaning up those facets, and once those are all cleaned up, I'm going to be switching to our 500 grit and giving that a once over. And I'm taking a look after the first pass with the 500 grit to make sure the facets are all cleaned off. There's a couple spots that I missed, so I'm just cleaning those off again. And then I'm going to be doing, the next step is our 1000 grit sandpaper. And after I'm finished with that 1000 grit, I'm inspecting it one more time, and if everything looks good, I'm going to be adding our polishing paste. I'm just using the step 1 polishing paste. And I usually only use about a pea-sized amount. You don't need a ton. And then I just slowly apply it to the ring with low RPMs to start, and then I kind of ramp it up a little bit faster. And afterwards, you should be left with a perfect ring. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down below. We'll try to get to them in future videos. If you need help with anything, go ahead and just let us know and we'll try to address it. Thanks guys, hope you have a good time making these rings.